I do not like Charlie Morningstar as a character. Yes, she's a sweet demon who's just trying to rehabilitate her people, but her character is just awful, and I want to get more into her specifically and her relationships when it comes to other characters because she is not as good as she pretends to be. In my hazbinhotel season 2 video, I did touch upon the problems I have with her, but oh, trust me, I have many issues when it comes to her character. And I don't dislike this show, but the issues I have are very frustrating to see because I just want to shake her back and forth and tell her to stop being so incredibly stupid. This is going to be a bit shorter of a video, but I still hope you enjoyed the ride. So spoilers ahead in case you have yet to watch season 2 of hazbinhotel. If you don't care about spoilers, then let's get into it. The best way I can describe Charlie as a character is both boring and overstimulating. In season 1, I did see her as a nothing character, which is crazy because she is supposed to be the main character, but almost everyone else is more interesting, mainly the male characters, which is the same problem with Hello Boss, where female characters have little to no character. At least in hazbinhotel, it's slightly better, but that's not saying much. Unfortunately, Charlie just isn't an interesting main character. If anything, she feels like a side character in her own show. The concept of a hotel to rehabilitate sinners is interesting, but I don't think she really thinks about the ramifications of this because, let's be honest, a lot of the people here deserve to be here and do not deserve the opportunity to go to heaven. So essentially, she wants to send horrible and grimy sinners to heaven, and in heaven, some of these angels are probably victims of these same sinners, and now they just have to accept the fact that they have to coexist together. Just because she feels they deserve rehabilitation and going to heaven, the angels who live there don't have to feel the same way. I can imagine them being angry that they have to coexist with them, but Charlie is not going to care about that because that is a pattern we repeatedly see in season 2, and this is where I start to actually dislike her because she is too caught up in her own ideas to really see this. She doesn't listen to reason and constantly is pushing boundaries because of her own goals, now realizing this could affect the ones she cares about. Even when told by Vaggie out of everyone to not do something, she completely brushes her off, does it anyway, and then is shocked when it doesn't go as planned. Getting an interview with Vox or anything associated with him is just a horrible idea because he is one of the overlords. Overlords are corrupt and evil, and since he controls the news, he controls the narrative and information sinners get to see. But again, Charlie doesn't consider any of this. Angel Dust himself even tells her this is a really bad idea to let them into the hotel. This first happens in episode 3. She calls an interview with Vox Tech for the hotel because she found out through Emily that Serpentius is alive in heaven because he was able to actually rehabilitate himself. But the problem is she has no proof of this happening and has no idea how to make this happen again. So she pressures Angel Dust to be essentially her guinea pig. Again, pushing boundaries, which Angel Dust tries to tell her no, but she doesn't stop. She even tries to pressure Angel to tell her what sin he committed, and he tries so hard to tell her she doesn't want to and is clearly uncomfortable, but Charlie does not care about that. Nothing else matters to her but to prove her theory right about rehabilitating sinners. So Vox tells her that Angel Dust's sin is murder, and Angel Dust gets very upset. Charlie demands Vox to leave, and he tells her, well, you asked. And I agree. If Vox didn't say anything, Charlie would have kept asking because she can't take no for an answer, and this isn't the first time she does this. Angel Dust has every right to be upset with her because her sorry means nothing. You can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again and think sorry will actually fix it. So after she can't prove rehabilitation to Vox, the hotel starts to look bad with Velvet slandering her on the internet. So what does Charlie do after this? Ding ding ding, she gets another interview with Vox Tech to try to clear her name.
You stupid.
And this is another example of her never listening to anyone else because Vaggie tells her before this is not a good idea. Vaggie knows Vox and his crew are no good, but Charlie doesn't listen. And to help her try to rehabilitate the hotel, she brings Nifty out of anyone. And to no one's surprise, the hotel is now seen even worse off, to the point where a lot of the sinners are now leaving it. It's like a repeated pattern with her, and it gets annoying quick. She doesn't doesn't listen, things go wrong, and she tries again, and then the pattern just repeats again. And then she has the nerve to say she's the princess when she's practically getting trampled over. You don't act like it. So why should anyone respect you? You are both a complete pushover, but also a massive jerk, and we're going to get into that part. So in episode 5 of season 2, Charlie does her best to contact the angels, specifically Emily, because if she can get physical proof that Sir Pentious is alive, the sinners could finally believe her, and this would undo all of the harm that Vox has done. So meanwhile, as a way to help, Vaggie gets the idea to contact Charlie's father Lucifer and ask him to smite Vox. Turns out, Lucifer is completely useless. He is unable to smite sinners or really do any harm to them because that is his punishment, to be stuck with them. Vaggie convinces him to just intimidate Vox so he would finally back off, but unfortunately that's not going to work because he already knows that Lucifer can't smite him. So after Lucifer just gets completely embarrassed, Charlie actually does get in contact with the angels and they go to apologize with gift baskets. But the sinners are not having it, especially because their new leader was just threatened by a fallen angel, and now all of a sudden they should trust them, especially after years of extermination. They want revenge. And then Sarah goes and makes it even worse by saying this is why the extermination exists, because of sinners like Vox who are completely evil. But this just makes the sinners hate them even more, so they have no choice but to retreat, leaving Charlie devastated. So when Charlie finds out Lucifer is technically behind this, she absolutely flips out. And here's another reason why I don't like Charlie, because when it comes to Katie Killjoy, who completely makes a mockery out of her, the hotel, and in front of thousands of demons, she's angry, but she isn't full-blown freaking out at her like she is at Lucifer, only trying to help. And who is her father, destroying the table, screaming at him. She is going full-on demon mode, even though technically he didn't do anything wrong. And then next, when she finds out Vaggie is the one who made the plan, she flips out on her next, and Vaggie is reasonably angry at her and calls her out for all of her awful behavior this season, but Charlie refuses to listen. A lot of the things that have went wrong for the hotel this season is directly her fault because she wouldn't stop. This episode in particular made me so mad because Charlie is such a massive hypocrite. She will gladly be pushed around by sinners and other demons she has no connections to, but when it comes to the character she supposedly cares about, she pushes their boundaries, screams at them, she abandons them, and says such horrible things. So now let's get into Charlie's important relationships, starting with Lucifer is another nothing character. It's season 2 now, and we still don't know why Charlie and Lucifer were estranged to begin with. We aren't given anything. All we know is that they don't really talk anymore. In the pilot, he did seem more serious and intimidating, so it seemed originally things were going to be a little more toxic between them, and there probably was going to be bigger reason why the two were estranged from each other. But here, it doesn't make sense because he's incredibly sweet to her. Whenever she asks for a favor, he does it. If anyone threatens her, he will gladly come to defend his daughter. So I can't for the life of me understand how Charlie treats him the way he does. She is so desperate to get in contact with her mother Lilith, who essentially abandoned her to be in heaven. And it's not like Lilith can't contact her. She literally hangs up the phone on her. And while yes, I understand that Charlie obviously loves and misses her mother, her father is right here actively supporting her, and he kind of gets the short end of the stick. And even after he gets yelled at by her, he's still super nice. I honestly can't help but feel bad for Lucifer for how he's treated by the ones he loves. Vaggie is an interesting character, but they almost do nothing with her, so I'm gonna call this issue the Millie treatment. The Millie treatment being a character in the franchise, only being a mere accessory to the partner rather than being their own character. All Vaggie really is just Charlie's girlfriend, but the thing is she has a really cool backstory when she was one of the exterminator angels, but shows sympathy, and because of that she lost her eye and her wings. She's a strong and witty character, but they do pretty much nothing nothing with the fact that she was Exterminator Angel. It kind of just happens in season 1 and then we just have to roll with it. However, she does seem to have trauma from it, but again, that's not really explored. Almost everything that she does is for Charlie and the hotel, but she doesn't even get respect that she deserves. If anything, she's a better manager of the hotel than Charlie. We see in season 2 how much work she's putting in while Charlie is gone. Vaggie puts all of her effort into the hotel but is basically never noticed. If we were to just delete Charlie from the show, what's Vaggie's purpose now? The answer is virtually none. I honestly can't think of anything really about her character that isn't tied to Charlie somehow. I could see this possibly working because Vaggie has been trained to serve for others as an Exterminator Angel, so her being worried about not having a purpose because that's all she's ever known could be explored more and would be very interesting, but they don't even do anything with that. And how she's treated by Charlie is the worst of it all. Their relationship is not that healthy. Like I said, Charlie does not listen to her even though they're girlfriends, and immediately when Charlie finds out Vaggie asked Lucifer to intimidate Vox, she immediately yells at her. Vaggie tries to tell her that this is what Vox does. The whole reason Vox even showed interest in the hotel was to slander it. But when Charlie asks, "Why didn't you ask me?" Vaggie tells her she doesn't listen. There would literally be no point in asking Charlie. Charlie acts incredibly hostile towards her and acts like Vaggie isn't on her side, which she is. She has been the whole time. That's why she's been trying to help her. But Charlie only cares about herself and the hotel's image, even though in actuality she's ruining the hotel herself because she's the one who let Vox Tech interview the hotel. She's the one who went to Vox Tech to try to fix the hotel's image. She did all of this to herself. Vox barely had to do a thing. It worked so well in his favor. I just want to say, just because a character is optimistic doesn't mean they're dumb. There's a lot of optimistic characters that are smart, but unfortunately, Charlie isn't one of them. I really hope in season 3 she does grow better as a character, because watching her in season 2 made me want to throw my TV out of the window. I like to believe season 3 will be better. Not that I hated season 2, not at all, but my expectations are quite low when it comes to Vivipop's writing. Not to mention how Little Boss is coming back, and I am terrified. But that's all for now. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Charlie as a character? Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps my channel. Currently have a comic on Tumblr I'm working on with friends. And as always,